I came across another interesting question. Which of the following scripts are used for scheduled Tibeto-Burman languages in India? The options are 1. Sharada 2. Grantha 3. Olchaki 4. Devanagari 5. Might I now tell me the correct answer? 6. Grantha and Olchaki only 7. Devanagari and Might I only 8. Sharada and Grantha only 9. Sharada and Devanagari only.
Alright, let's think about this. We know that Devanagari and Meitei are used for scheduled Tibeto-Burman languages in India, right?
Yes, that's correct. So the right answer is Devanagari and Meitei only. Let's discuss why the other options are incorrect.
Sure. Sharada is an ancient script primarily used for Sanskrit and some Kashmiri texts, not for Tibeto-Burman languages.
Right. And Grantha is used for writing Sanskrit in the Tamil Nadu region, not for Tibeto-Burman languages.
Olchaki is used for the Santali language, which is not a Tibeto-Burman language, but belongs to the Munda language family.
Exactly. Now let's look at the combined options. Grantha and Olchaki only is incorrect, because neither script is used for Tibeto-Burman languages.
And Sharada and Grantha only is incorrect for the same reason. Both scripts are not used for Tibeto-Burman languages.
Sharada and Devanagari only is also incorrect because, while Devanagari is used, Sharada is not relevant to Tibeto-Burman languages.
Which leaves us with Devanagari and Meitei only as the correct answer, because both are indeed used for scheduled Tibeto-Burman languages in India.
Perfect. It's clear that Devanagari and Meitei are the correct scripts used for these languages.
Here's a question about areal features characteristic of Indian languages. Which of the following are typical areal features characteristic of Indian languages? The options are 1. Retroflexion 2. SVO word order 3. Reduplication 4. Click consonants 5. Uvular consonants. Tell me, which ones are correct? 6. Retroflexion and SVO word order only 7. Click consonants and uvular consonants only 8. Retroflexion and reduplication only 9. SVO word order and reduplication only.
Alright, let's think about this. We know that retroflexion and reduplication are typical areal features of Indian languages, right?
Yes, that's correct. So the right answer is retroflexion and reduplication only. Let's discuss why the other options are incorrect.
Sure. Retroflexion is a distinctive phonetic feature where the tongue curls back to produce sounds, and it's common in Indian languages.
Right. Reduplication is a process where a word or part of a word is repeated to convey meaning, and it's also common in Indian languages.
SVO word order, which stands for subject-verb-object, is used in some Indian languages, but it's not a distinctive areal feature since many other language families around the world also use this word order.
Exactly. Click consonants are characteristic of some African languages, not Indian languages.
And uvular consonants are more common in languages from other regions, like some Afro-Asiatic and Caucasian languages, not typically in Indian languages.
Let's look at the combined options now. Retroflexion and SVO word order only is incorrect because, while retroflexion is correct, SVO word order isn't a distinctive areal feature.
Click consonants and uvular consonants only is incorrect, because neither of these are typical areal features of Indian languages.
SVO word order and reduplication only is also incorrect because, while reduplication is correct, SVO word order isn't a distinctive feature.
Which leaves us with retroflexion and reduplication only as the correct answer, because both are indeed typical areal features of Indian languages.
Perfect. It's clear that retroflexion and reduplication are the correct features characteristic of Indian languages.
Here is a question about methods used in training machine learning algorithms. Which of the following methods is generally not used in training machine learning algorithms? The options are 1. Supervised 2. Unsupervised 3. Grammar-based 4. Semi-supervised 5. Rule-based now? Tell me the correct options. 6. Unsupervised and grammar-based only 7. Grammar-based and rule-based only 8. Supervised and unsupervised only 9. Unsupervised and semi-supervised only.
Alright, let's think about this. We know that grammar-based and rule-based methods are generally not used in training machine learning algorithms, right?
Yes, that's correct. So the right answer is grammar-based and rule-based only. Let's discuss why the other options are incorrect.
Sure. Supervised learning involves training a model on a labeled dataset, which is a common method in machine learning.
Right. Unsupervised learning involves training on an unlabeled dataset to find hidden patterns or intrinsic structures, which is also commonly used.
Semi-supervised learning combines a small amount of labeled data with a large amount of unlabeled data during training, and it's another commonly used method.
Exactly. Grammar-based methods, however, are more related to computational linguistics and natural language processing tasks involving formal grammar rules, not typically used for general machine learning algorithm training.
And rule-based methods involve creating a set of hard-coded rules for decision-making, which is not how machine learning algorithms are usually trained since they rely on data-driven approaches.
Let's look at the combined options now. Unsupervised and grammar-based only is incorrect, because unsupervised is a commonly used method.
Supervised and unsupervised only is incorrect, because both are commonly used methods.
Which leaves us with grammar-based and rule-based only as the correct answer, because both methods are generally not used in training machine learning algorithms.
Perfect. It's clear that grammar-based and rule-based methods are not typically used for training machine learning algorithms.
Here is a question about arranging laws and principles in chronological order. Arrange the following laws/principles in chronological order. The options are 1. Fortunatov's Law 2, Verner's Law 3, Grassmann's Law 4, Grimm's Law 5. Pike's Principles?
All right, let's think about this. We know the years these laws were introduced. 1. Grimm's Law, 1822, 2. Grassmann's Law, 1863, 3. Verner's Law, 1877, 4. Fortunatov's Law, 1881, 5. Pike's Principles, 1954.
So the correct chronological order is Grimm's Law, Grassmann's Law, Verner's Law, Fortunatov's Law, and Pike's Principles.
Yes, that's correct. So the right answer is Grimm's Law, Grassmann's Law, Verner's Law, Fortunatov's Law, Pike's Principles. Let's discuss why the other options are incorrect.
Sure. The option Grimm's Law, Verner's Law, Grassmann's Law, Fortunatov's Law, Pike's Principles is incorrect, because it places Verner's Law before Grassmann's Law. Verner's Law, Fortunatov's Law, Grimm's Law, Pike's Principles, Grassmann's Law is also incorrect, because it places Verner's Law and Fortunatov's Law before Grimm's Law and Pike's Principles in the middle.
Grassmann's Law, Verner's Law, Fortunatov's Law, Pike's Principles. Grimm's Law is incorrect, because it places Grassmann's Law before Grimm's Law and Pike's Principles before Fortunatov's Law.
Which leaves us with Grimm's Law, Grassmann's Law, Verner's Law, Fortunatov's Law, Pike's Principles is the correct answer.
Here's a question about arranging Sanskrit grammarians in chronological order. Arrange the following Sanskrit grammarians in the chronological order. The options are 1. Patanjali 2. Panini 3. Katyayana 4. Bhartrhari 5. Najasabharta. Choose the correct order. 6. Patanjali, Panini, Katyayana, Bhartrhari, Najasabhata 7. Panini, Patanjali, Najasabhata, Bhartrhari, Katyayana 8. Panini, Katyayana, Patanjali, Bhartrhari, Najasabhata 9. Panini, Patanjali, Katyayana, Bhartrhari, Najasabhata.
Given the approximate periods these grammarians lived, the correct chronological order is 1. Panini, 4th century BCE 2. Katyayana, 3rd century BCE 3. Patanjali, 2nd century BCE 4. Bhartrhari, 5th century CE 5. Najasabhata, 17th century. So the correct option is 8. Panini, Katyayana, Patanjali, Bhartrhari, Najasabhata.
Yes, that's correct. So the right answer is Panini, Katyayana, Patanjali, Bhartrhari, Najasabhata. Let's discuss why the other options are incorrect.
Sure. The option Patanjali, Panini, Katyayana, Bhartrhari, Najasabhata is incorrect, because it places Patanjali before Panini and Katyayana.
Panini, Patanjali, Najasabhata, Bhartrhari, Katyayana is incorrect because it places Nagasabata before Bhartrhari and Katyayana last, which is not the correct chronological order.
Panini, Patanjali, Katyayana, Bhartrhari, Nagasabata is incorrect because it places Patanjali before Katyayana.
Which leaves us with Panini, Katyayana, Patanjali, Bhartrhari, Nagasabata as the correct answer.
Perfect. This correctly reflects the chronological order based on when these grammarians lived.
Here's a question about the major areas of language planning. Major areas of language planning are, the options are, 1. Language documentation 2. Awareness generation 3. Status planning 4. Attitude estimation 5. Corpus planning.
Alright, let's think about this. We know that the major areas of language planning are status planning and corpus planning, right?
Yes, that's correct. So the right answer is status planning, corpus planning. Let's discuss why the other options are incorrect.
Sure. Language documentation is important for preserving languages, but is not considered one of the main areas of language planning.
Right. Awareness generation is about creating awareness, but is not a core area of language planning.
Attitude estimation involves understanding people's attitudes towards languages, which is relevant but not a major area of language planning.
Exactly. Now let's look at the combined options. Corpus planning, language documentation is incorrect because language documentation is not one of the main areas.
Awareness generation, status planning is incorrect because awareness generation is not one of the main areas.
Attitude estimation, corpus planning is incorrect because attitude estimation is not one of the main areas.
Which leaves us with status planning. Corpus planning is the correct answer because both are indeed the major areas of language planning.
Here's a question about the process of loss of a part of a word. The process of loss of a part of a word is known as, the options are, 1. Metathesis 2. Apokop 3. Prokop 4. Dissimilation 5. Prothesis. Now, tell me the correct options. 6. Metathesis and dissimilation only 7. Apokop and Prokop only 8. Prokop and dissimilation only 9. Dissimilation and prothesis only.
Alright, let's think about this. We know that the process of loss of a part of a word is called apokop and Prokop, right?
Yes, that's correct. So the right answer is apokop and Prokop only. Let's discuss why the other options are incorrect.
Sure. Metathesis is a rearrangement of sounds or letters in a word, not the loss of a part of the word.
Right. Dissimilation is the process whereby similar consonant sounds become less similar in a word, not the loss of a part of a word.
And prothesis is the addition of a sound at the beginning of a word, not the loss of a part of the word.
Exactly. Now let's look at the combined options. Metathesis and dissimilation only is incorrect because neither process involves the loss of a part of a word.
Prokop and dissimilation only is incorrect because Prokop is correct, but dissimilation does not involve the loss of a part of the word.
Dissimilation and prothesis only is incorrect because dissimilation is not related to the loss of a part of a word, and prothesis involves the addition of a sound, not the loss of a part of a word.
Which leaves us with apokop and Prokop only as the correct answer, because both are indeed processes involving the loss of a part of the word.
Here's a question about multi-word expressions. An example of a multi-word expression can be, the options are, 1. An idiom 2. A compound 3. A proverbial expression 4. An inflected form 5. A derived form. Now, choose the correct options. 6. An idiom and a compound only 7. An inflected form and a derived form only 8. An idiom, a compound, and a proverbial expression only 9. An idiom only.
Alright, let's think about this. We know that multi-word expressions can include idioms, compounds, and proverbial expressions, right?
Yes, that's correct. So the right answer is an idiom, a compound, and a proverbial expression only. Let's discuss why the other options are incorrect.
Sure. An inflected form and a derived form are typically single words rather than multi-word expressions.
Right. An option only is incorrect because multi-word expressions can include more than just idioms.
Indeed. An example of a multi-word expression could be something like kick the bucket, which is an idiom, childhood friend, which is a compound, or a stitch in time saves nine, which is a proverbial expression.
Exactly. Understanding that multi-word expressions encompass idioms, compounds, and proverbial expressions helps us select the correct answer.
Absolutely. It's essential to recognize a variety of linguistic forms that fall under multi-word expressions.
Hey Bob, I was looking at this linguistics question about syllables, and I could use your help. It asks us to choose the correct pairs from a list of options related to the parts of a syllable.
The first option says, nucleus is the central segment of the syllable. Do you think this is correct?
Yes, that's correct. In phonology, the nucleus is indeed the central part of a syllable. It's typically a vowel or a syllabic consonant, which carries the syllable's stress and is considered the most sonorous part. So this one is right.
Okay, good to know. The second option states, onset is the opening segment of the syllable.
This one is also correct. The onset is the initial consonant sound or sounds of a syllable that come before the nucleus. For example, in the word cat, the C sound is the onset.
So, both of these options are correct. What about the third option? It says, coda is the central segment of the syllable.
That one's incorrect. The coda is actually the closing segment of a syllable, not the central part. It consists of the consonant sounds that come after the nucleus. For instance, in cat, the T sound is the coda.
Got it. And the fourth option says, nucleus is the optional segment of the syllable.
That's also incorrect. The nucleus is a necessary part of a syllable. Every syllable must have a nucleus, which is typically a vowel sound. Without it, you wouldn't have a complete syllable.
Okay, and the fifth option states, onset is the closing segment of the syllable.
This one's wrong too. As we discussed earlier, the onset is the opening segment of the syllable, not the closing part.
So, the correct pairs are nucleus is the central segment of the syllable and onset is the opening segment of the syllable.
I've got another linguistics question here. This one is about identifying the correct language families. Can you help me go through it?
Let's take a look at the options. What's the first one?
The first option is Sanskrit, Pali, Prakrit, Indo-Aryan. Do you think this is correct?
Yes, that's correct. Sanskrit, Pali, and Prakrit are all part of the Indo-Aryan branch of the Indo-Iranian family, which itself is a subset of the Indo-European language family. So this one is right.
Got it. The second option says Lithuanian, Latvian, Baltic. What about this one?
This is also correct. Lithuanian and Latvian are indeed Baltic languages, which is a branch of the Indo-European language family.
So, two correct ones so far. The third option is Irish, Scottish Gaelic, Welsh, Breton, Celtic.
That one is also correct. Irish, Scottish Gaelic, Welsh, and Breton are all Celtic languages. The Celtic languages form another branch of the Indo-European language family.
Alright, how about the fourth option, Arabic, Hebrew, Indo-European?
Alright folks, now we're talking about the star of the day. Who is it? Triangulation.
That makes sense. And the fifth option is Avestan, Persian, Pashto, Indo-Iranian.
This one is correct. Avestan, Persian, and Pashto are all Indo-Iranian languages, which is another branch of the Indo-European family.
So, the correct options are Sanskrit, Pali, Prakrit, Indo-Aryan, Lithuanian, Latvian, Baltic, Irish, Scottish Gaelic, Welsh, Breton, Celtic, and Avestan, Persian, Pashto, Indo-Iranian.